starting to sprinkle a little. Make sure it didn't get the camera. No. Looks good.
Just don't fit it into a tree. What do you think it was gonna go through it? Yep. Stop digging in your book. No, don't ever sit back and out, bro. You gotta like whoosh. Oh damn. Gotta do like one of those like vlogging stats or whatever. Yeah. Is that what? I got the box
gotta move that trampoline, right? Because no one really uses it anymore. Maybe I'm thinking while you guys are here, I'll help you move it down here. I am. It is easy. It's nice. I usually move it myself. I usually roll it myself. It's not heavy. It's just that the legs fall off.
Yeah, I want to see basketball. Whoa!
It's fucking unbelievable. It's really unfucking believable. Everybody ignores it. Total denial. It's just fucking unbelievable, man. It's on 2 or more. Oh boy.
That's a tough rock. I want to find the fucking rock that I had already broken. So I'm going to bust my ass breaking it. I could cut it in half with a saw, but then I lose out on a lot of texture. The lights and shadows fall differently on the rock, so you'll still see the feline canine rodent ape human beast, but I won't be able to show you. If I saw it, I wouldn't be able to show you the lights and shadows, and how the lights and shadows are bouncing off all of the whatever it may be for texture, whether it's a tree, the clouds, a rock, the moon, whatever it takes for texture. There's so many things that come into play with all of that as well, so I want to go through it all. And when I break the rock, I'll do a video specifically on that rock. It's nowhere near ready to break. If it accidentally breaks on me while I don't have a camera on it, then not a big deal. I'll just walk over and start the video. It was just making me think earlier when I was thinking about that, how if I was to saw the rock or the stone in half rather than break it in half and let it crack on its timelines, I guess is what I'll call them. There is another scientific name for that, where a stone or marble would actually, the lines you can choose to try to break a stone exact. And I guess I'm instinctually doing it with that other stone that I'm now breaking. I'm kind of doing the same thing. I found an area that looked like it was thinner than most of the rest of the stone. It wasn't quite in the middle of the half, that kind of thing. There was a little bit of a groove there, so I knew my chisel would fit in there. I did not look for those break lines, though. I did not do that. Maybe I should. What are they called again now? Shit. My memory's fucking terrible. I don't know. I'm going to make something up like fracking line or some shit like that. Where to frack a rock. But it's what it made me think about earlier, though, was how when I was talking earlier in the week about those 350 to 800 ton stones, those 350 to 800 ton stones that we at one time were moving around and cutting. As I found all of this, what I'm trying to show all of you, as I found it, I often wondered, different things like how long ago, when was the last time that everybody was able to see this openly and honestly without playing all these games and the whole lies, all the lies that humans tell ourselves and all that. And when we look back at those 350 to 800 ton stones, when we were moving them, cutting them precisely, and also the polishing of them also struck me this was years ago. This was already popping into my head and I had questions about it, because when you see the system, you know that things with more texture I gotta stop yelling because I don't want to get everybody upset. As I'm talking, I'm trying to yell to the camera. Because this is very important as we're looking at all this, all right? Because when you're looking at moon videos and moon photos, right, it's not really in person per se, I can't reach out and touch it the way I can a rock or a stone. But either way, when I'm digitally collecting the EMNC, I can look over the camera and see the same thing with my eyes that my camera will see. But what the camera gives me is a way to show it to everybody else that you can also see it. So doing that, I'm forced to have to offer you guys lights and shadows, different colors, light spectrums. I have to offer it to you that way, even to allow your brain to be able to see it. You want to write it off as magic. You want to write it off as what I'm showing you is false. Well, you can go outside your own home, do these videos on your own, and you will see them. You don't need a filter. I'm offering you the filters because it's easier for you to see. The imagery will be more crisp and clear, as I keep saying. It's all about the lights and shadows, and I'm offering you different colors. Now, our eyes have lost some ability, and I could talk about some things that you're all not going to listen to anyway, so I don't waste my breath with it all too much. But other things that are so important when seeing all this to understand. So why would they be polishing these stones for any other reason? So remember now, my accusation is the last time that humans were telling ourselves the truth and dealing with reality was a couple thousand years at best before we were building with those 700-800 ton stones, okay? Precisionally cut stones, really big stones that had to be not put there by human natural manufacturing or anything like that. There was something way beyond that we were capable of as far as our buildings go. So everything was a lie. We know the pyramids were a lie. We know what the pyramids were even about were a lie. And those blocks are too small for me to even count because I don't know of anything there 800 tons. I think there may be some 350s, maybe a couple of them here and there or something. So maybe they just built on top of what was already there, the ancient Egyptians. So I don't think we're going back far enough when we say ancient Egyptians, ancient Romans, ancient, Greek. I just don't think any of those are anywhere near going back far enough for the time when we were living based on reality rather than all these lies. Because the reason why I think that, as I was thinking about all these things, is that why would you polish the stones, right? You can, if you're at a time in our history, in our human history, maybe we were synthetic species at that time and we were more electrical than we are now, and maybe we went further and further bio, and maybe that was our fault. There's a lot of questions I still have myself about how this all goes and how it went down. But we got to start looking if we're going to figure this shit out. So why would you, or anybody, at any time, polish those 800-ton stones? It has nothing to do with the build. I'm just thinking about it as I'm talking about it. Has nothing to do with them locking together better or anything like that. It's unnecessary. Really just cut the stones and as precise as they were being cut, there was no really worry. Why did they have to go back and polish them? And did they polish them? Was that just another lie that we were told? Was it just thousands and tens of thousands of years of weathering that made them look polished and so fine? Because the reason why I'm thinking about all this is when I'm breaking the rock in half, I'm talking about if I sawed it, we would lose texture. You can still see the imagery, don't get me wrong, but there's texture there. But yet, when we look at the stone or the clouds or whatever on a video, you got to remember, we're looking at them in a video, you're looking at them on a flat screen. No matter what, it's flat. Just same way if you're looking at a photo on a piece of paper of the moon, let's say, or something. It's flat. But it's so amazing that when you start moving your camera around and you change up your lights and shadows, the amount of layers, the layers and layers upon layers of image within image within image from the veil to the ground that is this way, including a piece of paper, and it will show you the ink will even the ink will be separate from the imagery in the paper. The imagery that's in paper has to be there because it's in the true creator's build. It's in the true creator's work, right? We all are. Everything is. That's why the true creator's imagery will be everywhere. That's why you will never catch me showing you the image in a driveway, because it's too much human influence, okay? There's a lot of human influence in that driveway. So if I start going in on the driveway in pavement, human made, cars driving all over it, you're not going to look at it as natural the way you think of the clouds being natural. So I'm taking advantage of your not wanting to know reality because you think the clouds are Mother Nature and all that kind of shit. I'm just keeping it aimed at the driveway for a minute. So I guess my question to myself is, all those years ago when they were building those builds, moving those 800-ton stones, did they have a reason, and were they actually polishing them? Because the reason why that's so important to me is because it seems like humans, definitely in the last 1,000 years, maybe 800, 900 years, maybe more, I don't know. I'd have to really look back on when. But here's what we've been doing. We've been hiding the true creator's work in plain sight. We've been lying about the false creator/creator and their work. And when we hide it, when we try to hide it, you can still find it if you know what I'm about to say. And I'm sorry I'm talking so slow. I'm just thinking about what's going on around me because there's people around me. And I'm trying to watch the camera at the same time that I'm thinking about what I'm trying to say. Okay, so what I noticed was, like, if you go up to a paint job of a car, they're glossy. The glossier, the more mirror-like finish. Then directly from that vehicle, product, metal, paint job, whatever we want to look at it as, you won't get the image directly from it. But what happens is that means it's so shiny that if you just look, you're going to see the true creator's work because it's going to be in the reflection of. Okay, so the reason why I say we try to hide it, because that would be one example. A shiny paint job, don't have no orange peel in it. If it's got orange peel or anything in it, I'll show you the imagery in the paint job, right? The less gloss that it has, I can show you the imagery in the paint. All things with human influence, right? So that's why I don't do them. That's why I don't go to them. I'm just talking about it. Mirrors. This is where I learned about it, was actually water and mirrors. Because I was thinking to myself one day doing some steady waters, the reflection was so bad with the sun that I couldn't really digitally collect the EMNC like I can everywhere else. I needed waves. I needed fast flowing water hitting rocks. I needed wind. I needed them to open the dam and raise the waters, lower the waters. Um, Even that's when I first noticed that, okay, I'm not collecting from the waters because the waters are so still that I can see through to the floor. So actually, I'm digitally collecting the EM&C from the rocks, the stones, the dirt at the floor of this river, let's say, or lake, or whatever it might be. Then another day, the sun would be hitting it so hard and the water's so still, it looked like a mirror. You know the look, you know. So what started happening was I started going for the trees that were reflecting in the water, and I said, oh my God, it's the reflection of. So whenever we try to hide it, and no matter what we do, you can't really hide it, because the true creator's work is still gonna go look in the mirror, and you're gonna see all around you the true creator's work. Feline, canine, rodent, ape, humanities, faces only. Everywhere. There's no such thing as, because we are all in the system together, in the true creator's system, living by human rules set by humans, not by the false creator / creator. We don't follow the false creator / creator's rules. I don't even know if there are rules for, as far as we're concerned. Maybe, I don't know. I can't even figure out the fucking clock yet. I can't, so. Looks like it's gonna rain, so if I put my camera down, the wind's gonna take it. Shit, I lost my sight because I got a lot of glare in the camera, and then I accidentally just looked up at the sun. I don't think I can put it down. So, back to my question to myself. Why would we at any time, what would be the reasoning to want to smoothen those stones? I mean, was it not enough achievement to cut them out of a mountain and move them hundreds of miles, or all the things that we talk about? Was that not enough? We had to also polish them. What was the reasoning for that? My only thought was that maybe they were trying to hide the true creator's work already. at a time when all of the things that we know today were not here. A lot of the biospecies that we know of today and we think that we're here forever or evolved over time and all that. I don't know that evolved is the right word to use anymore. If we are still going to use the word evolved, then we got to talk about humans' involvement in the evolution of all of the other things that came after the feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast. Stop calling them God's work if it was humans that did it all. The same way we do with fruits and vegetables I was talking about the other day when I was talking about fruits and vegetables, because it's easy for people to understand and they'll know where I'm going with it. So if we're going to ask, the imagery, I count birds in the imagery based on only a handful of birds that I've seen since I've been looking. Two of them, though, are in, maybe more, two or possibly more, are in the moon. So I can go to them anytime. It's not like, you see them in the clouds go away, videos get deleted, that kind of thing. Or the videos that I've seen them in might not be trusted anymore. So therefore I won't go to them anymore anyway. Like there's some satellite footage that I used before that had thousands of birds in the video, but I don't trust it. It's satellite footage. First of all, NASA bullshit stories, so I don't trust them already. And then seeing that it was the only video where I seen that many birds, it kind of reminds me of what I was telling you the other day. Day before yesterday when I was talking to the camera, I was mentioning that when I went to the ocean, I thought I would see fish. I thought I would see ocean-related creatures. When I went to the trees, I thought I'd see flowers and fruit and vegetables. I didn't think it was going to keep coming up. Feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast. When I went to the moon, what was I supposed to see? Space aliens? Well, I didn't even believe in outer space anymore by that time anyways, but still, you get my point, right? So everywhere I was looking, and that's also why I mentioned it was because of the builders being triangular everywhere I go. So the lines are just lines. So I don't have to be that noticing about lines. Wherever the fuck I see lines, I know they're timelines. So I don't have to be that concerned with even explaining the timelines too much. But the builders are very important to notice that they are all triangular no matter the situation. The triangular builders from the veil to the ground, it is this way. Why is it that when you go to the ocean, you think that the ocean, even the waves look circular, right? When we're looking at them as waves. When we look at the moon looks like a big circle, 1 or 2 days a month or whatever, right? It looks circular. So, we based our whole lives on us living on a circle ball, right? So all these things we think of as circular, but when you really look at them, no, there's nothing being built with circles. Anytime I see something circular now, it always attracts my attention. When you look back at my series, there was West Coast Cat had some circular things from the ocean floor. I couldn't trust him. I didn't know for sure if he was being a real person with me about a lot of things. So I couldn't really take that one for granted either, that was anything natural. And then the feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast, you just think that it only makes sense. You say to yourself, well, come on, if this is it and I really found the true creator, then why does it keep coming up feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast? Why the hell am I not seeing all the other creatures I can reach out and touch? I can go to the zoo and pet. I can know because I know their mass, right? It's not a hallucination or a dream or any kind of shit like that. That's why it pisses me off when they do that, when people call it a hallucination that we live in, Let me come back out. Okay. So the texture, everything is given us to us is texture. So we can digitally collect the eMNC from all these places because of the texture. If they're not a flat screen, but yet even when they're on a flat screen, you can still take your camera in your hand while these videos are running on your monitor on your computer, and you move your camera side to side, and you're going to start to see what I'm talking about, angles and distances of perspective. It's one of the most amazing things to me in finding all this was doing that on the moon with the moon photographs, because I started to realize, I'm like, that's true, because really, why am I so amazed that it's happening on a piece of paper? Because the screen is flat. When I'm doing it on the computer, it's also flat. So for me to get all this texture out of a flat piece of paper, for me to get all this texture out of a screen, a monitor, just by moving my camera left to right, up and down, angling it, because I'm changing my angles and distances of perspective. I'm purposely doing it out here. Whenever I'm doing this, that's when you see, like if I'm aimed at the clouds, for example, and I'm moving my camera around, I'm looking for those lights and shadows to come in perfectly to my camera. You may not know it. I don't really talk about it, and I just do it now. I used to talk about it when I first started, and every once in a while, like I am right now. But I'm looking for that perfect darkness. When I got shine in my camera, it's a little bit even more difficult. Another thing I do with my camera that you'll notice more in my videos than anybody else's, because no one knows why I do. I'm telling you why. Timelines. I'm following the timelines directionally, which the true creator does not build according to our up, down, left, right, backward, forward, in and out bullshit. That's us. That's the false creator / creators build is all divided. The true creator is going to build in a big collage. It's going to be a big collage for everybody. So therefore, up is not up in the system, in the true creator system. That's only for us. We see it that way. We should know better. But we play games. We pretend that we don't see it. We pretend that we can't figure it all out. I don't know. Must be God. Must be God. I don't know. My teacher never told me nothing about that. My parents never said nothing. They just said, if you see it, you're nuts. Fuck me. So when I'm moving my camera around and I'm putting filters on the camera, different color filters, because I noticed that everybody will have a different appreciation for the different colored filters. They're still not going to want to admit anything that I'm telling them, but they'll see it. Remember, I was telling you in other videos how I have to trick people into seeing it. And I do. And that's, most people do run away. Once they see it, they run. But I think that it's just too late for that now. I think that things are so fucking bad. The pot's overboiled. Everybody's in the fire already. Everybody's been burning for some 50, 100 years or more. And it should be so fucking obvious to what's going on. And nope. Everybody's still pretending that things are okay. Everything's normal. A couple little bumps in the road. No fucking way, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable that no one wake up. It's fucked. We're fucked. we lost some contrast in our eyes over the years. I don't know if it was taken away from us. Maybe we were tricked out of it by the food and the shit that we eat and everything. That's most likely what it was. I also want to talk a little bit about something that's been bothering me for years too, and sometimes I'll bring it up. I'm gonna go get a cigarette though, because I'm fucking gonna have a smoke. I don't want to have to be yelling. Oh, there's a hole there. All right, so when I first found all this, visually, I knew I was missing out on the hearing it. I was learning about the sine waves and the sound resonances and things that were steering the systems. Systems. What was steering? How am I accusing even humans as influencing what I call weather? I can see by my own eyes how they were dumping the trails in the sky. I could see with my own eyes, at least on a screen, that they had ships that they were using to pump up ocean water and use it in order to put up into the atmosphere to get storms going. And I could believe that because even though I wasn't right there with my own eyes to see it, I am here every day, just like we all are, to see the trails running over our heads every fucking day. And we keep claiming that they're just jets. They're just jets. There's nothing to worry about. That's crazy. And that's nuts. No, it's not nuts. So want to know what the fuck is going on. We've been under wartime conditions for 30 years as far as anyone else should be concerned. Not just me. Not just me and a couple thousand people all across the earth that are talking about this, about the trails, right? So the chemtrail project, the geoengineering project, whatever you want to call it, cloud seeding, it all sounds so innocent. Their claims are to knock 30% of the sun out because we fucked up our ozone layer and the sun is going to melt everything. Sun is going to burn us. The sun that allows our bodies to create vitamin D is now all of a sudden bad for us. So even though they're telling us out of one side of their mouth that they're doing it, out of the other side of their mouth they're in total denial about any of it. It's ridiculous for us to keep going along with all the liars, pretending that these things are based on reality when we can see that they're not. So we know that they're doing it by ship as far as getting the trails up. We know that they do it by jet today. We also know that the way we used to do it in the past, and when I say they, I'm talking about us, we are they. Before that, before Reagan came in, we had many, many years. You got to remember, Reagan was the last final years of our industrial revolution in the United States. And we've seen every town across the country, every city, every town, the manufacturing went right the fuck down. We talked about it. We all knew it was happening. We said we were going to switch over to services. We were going to service each other. We were going to run everything based on services, banking services, social services, you name it, all services. All services. There's no service untouched. And we were no longer going to be doing any manufacturing. So that's why it's bullshit for him to come in, Trump, today and claim that he wants to bring back manufacturing. Of course not. So stupid. This is about total takedown of the country. Dividing the states up. No more borders at the same time. World order borders. So before Reagan and before any of the trails were coming out of jets, they were going up in ships, but not the way they are today. You know, ships meaning vessels, water vessels. So before that, we used to have manufacturing. We used to be the leading world manufacturing country, right? Because after the war, after Germany and everything, we took over everybody's manufacturing. We were manufacturing motherfuckers, man. Slaves. I call us slaves. And we were making everything. And then they decided to take that down. By the time Reagan came in, they were in the process of taking that down. And then every president since then has been based on these services, and more the factories have gone away. There may be one or two left here and there, but there ain't really shit compared to when I was a kid. Fuck no. All right, sun's gonna get me. Oop. All right, so since early this morning, all the clouds, that's the end of them as far as I can see. It looks like maybe over the horizon we'll see if another batch comes in. But we can actually see how they're running, how they're steering them, which way they're going, the directions of them. We can look at the timelines and know all that. Yeah, that's all she wrote. And it looks like there might be another batch, but look at the clear spot. We got all clear all the way to here, right? Got a couple sprouting trails. The trails just went through recently back here. You got one that just sprouted through right there. And then another thick wave of clouds in the back. So I'll just keep letting it roll until they come through. But it's just funny how they do it. I mean, we can see how these are being run. This is not Mother Nature, people. This is fucking not Mother Nature. Gotta stop with the Fox News. Gotta stop with CNN, mainstream media. Stop with the internet, for fuck's sakes, even. I mean, it's fucking... There's a trail jet not leaving the trail. Let's see if it's a trail jet. It looks like one from the bottom, silver belly bottom. I'll know when I hear it. It don't really look like one actually, but it is a silver bottom, white bottom. I don't think it is. Maybe. It's got no trail. Don't get me wrong. It's got no trail, but or is it just a drone? Oh, it's just a drone. It's a drone. Can't even hear it. That's funny. What a little it looks, because it looks like it's like 10,000 feet high because it's so small. You think it's jet. I'm still listening for it. I don't hear it. No, it's a drone. There, I got a little bit of jet noise. Oh, okay, I see the jet now. All right. But I don't see any trail though. Sometimes you'll see them leave clear trails that'll mix with the other trails too. And then also sometimes when the trails look clear, it's really because the sunlight, the way the sun's hitting it, it'll all of a sudden disappear. But other times it might have another trail in front of it or other minerals in front of it for a certain distance of the trail. So it'll look like little spurts, like it's spitting out spurts of white something or other out the back of the jet. But that's not what it's doing. What are we doing? There we go. look like they're almost here. And it looks like they might be sporadic the rest of the day anyway, so I'll probably shut it down. Let me see. We'll let them come through. I'll open up the camera. There's probably not much time left on this camera anyway. So back to the trails for a couple minutes, I guess. We were always controlling the weather. I use the word controlling, and that's a little strong for people because they're so used to calling it Mother Nature and they think everything's natural and stuff. And there really is nothing natural about any of this. That was the story we were sold. That was the story we were told. We believed in it. We were suckers, and we believed in it. We had an instinct. We had an instinct of the way things should be, but we always go against our instinct for whatever our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents and supposedly believed in, so it's on us, from children, from very young ages, we are lied to about absolutely everything. So we just grow up believing in those lies. Everything's a belief systems. And you have to believe in these things, otherwise you're out of the system. They'll throw you out. Sounds drastic, but it's just the way it is. Motherfucker. Before we were influencing the weather as human beings, before we influenced the weather, using the factories, we were using the native Indians' idea, which was not really dancing around a small fire. It was lighting up the side of a mountain when they were having issues with droughts and things like that. They still held on to the technology. I was telling you guys earlier that we lost thousands of years ago, tens of thousands of years ago, when we started lying to ourselves about everything. and they were still hanging on to pieces of it, different cultures. And the Native Indians, we know, were one of them. They weren't crazy to say that they could control the weather with their little fires. It was just exaggerated. They were probably forced into lying by their parents the same way we are. But the story sticks. Because if you light up the side of a mountain the same way we do today, we just call it a forest fire or an accidental fire, or we'll arrest somebody for terrorism, whatever. We'll make something up. We're liars. We'll lie. Either way, the fires happen. Every fucking year, the fires happen. Mysterious, suspicious, not done in the old-fashioned way. Nowadays, done in a new way. Which is probably the way that we used to cut those stones back over 10,000 years ago or more. That's probably how we used to cut those stones, is the same weaponry that's being used on us now to go through and just take out entire cities. And then they call it a forest fire. It's not a forest fire. Forest fires don't get hot enough to melt those things. It's radio weaponry. It's radio wave weaponry. We all know what it is. We all know what it is. We know we can't talk about it. We know if we talk about it, they'll be knocking at my fucking door, right? So we know that we know that it's real. We know that it happens, but yet we'll still deny it. Oh no, that's crazy conspiracy talk. Yeah, bullshit. That's exactly what they're doing. They did it in Hawaii. It started way back. They did it in Paradise, California. They did it in Hawaii with their weaponry. What do they call them? Direct energy weaponry. And they can turn the dial up or down on them. And then if you talk about it, then they start bringing up laser beams from space aliens and bullshit stories to throw everybody off. Now, if you talk about that and you say anything, they'll just make you out to be a nutcase, which you would be, because there's no such thing as space aliens, and there's no such thing as space as we know it, at least anyway. Lawn mowed out. You're not gonna be able to hear me talk anyway, so I'll finish up later. So there's a trail jet, and he's doing a roundabout. Remember I was saying they've been doing these S's lately. He's doing it. He's starting one. Yeah. He's going to be doing an S. Yep. Well, at least they're changing some shit up. I wish I knew what their reasoning for doing S's was. I mean, it looks very obvious that you're not just doing a regular flight when you keep doing S's with your jets. I mean, it's just stupid. There's no way to make sense of that. You're en route to going somewhere, and all of a sudden you do this big fucking S? For what? For what? Makes no sense. Let's go see him over here. Oh, that's good. That's real nice. Oh my God. Man, those guys were fast today. Not that long, like 15 fucking minutes. whenever we go out, what's the sense of going out if you're not going to drive? You got your keys on you, right?